let's go and set up the gradebook. The gradebook is located underneath the Progress tab. Go to Grades. And when you first get in here, you will only have to go through this once, but you can re-access the setup wizard and change settings if you find that the current ones that you selected are not working for you. So nothing's permanent, easy to fix, but we'll go ahead and click Start. Alright, for this example, we're going to choose weighted, but you can choose points or a particular formula on how you want to calculate things. We'll just, like I said, start with weighted. And if you have questions about any of them, there's further information by clicking these little question marks here. Alright, continue. I'm going to do a calculated final grade. This is a reflection of what the students get, and that will be the calculated grade. Now, if you have like some class participation exercises that you grade the students on that are really not tracked within the gradebook itself, you can elect for an adjusted final grade. And what you can go and do at the end of the semester is adjust the final grade a little bit, obviously. All right. Oh, let me go back here. Let's set up the gradebook. It is located underneath the Progress tab, Grades, and here you have 4 tabs up here. When you first set up your gradebook, it will default to the setup wizard, and we'll cover the rest of the tabs here as soon as we complete the setup wizard. Alright, when you first get in here, it'll show you what the current settings are for the gradebook, and we can change those as we go through the wizard. And once the wizard's done, it should be noted that you can come back and change things. So it's not set in stone, and if you find that this current system isn't working for you, you can go back in and change it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start. For this example, I'm going to go through weighted, and there's points and formula available. If you need more information about those, you can click on the question mark and it will provide you with that information. Alright, so with the weighted example selected, we'll hit continue. Final calculated grade is just that you don't have to go back in and make any adjustments. The grades you enter for the students' assignments is what will be displayed in their final calculated grade. Now adjusted, say if you're grading students on, say, class participation, some lab activities or something like that, and you're not tracking that in the gradebook, you can go back in and make a little adjustment at the end of the semester. And you can always change this later as well if you want to. And also automatically release final grade. This is where the students would be able to see their final grade, what Brightspace is calculated for them. There are some pros and cons of that, and we can discuss those further if you want. But that is entirely up to you, and if you want the students to see their final grade the entire time, or if you want to release it at a very specific time. Okay, continue. Now this one here, drop ungraded items or treat ungraded items as zeros. Dropping ungraded items, these are things that you have not gone in and entered zeros in. Brightspace will not consider those into the final grade. And what happens is a student might feel that if they've completed a couple assignments really well and not doing anything else, it will show they're having a really good grade when they're really not. Unless you are going in and entering the zeros behind them when they're not completing the assignments. So essentially they're working from an A down. Now treat ungraded items as 0. What happens there is the students, even though they might be acing all their initial assignments, it will show that they still have a very low grade because everything that's not graded is being treated as a 0. So they're working up from an F. It is up to you, but I would certainly recommend that you have a very good conversation with your students on how you set up your grade books so they don't have any false pretenses about their actual grade. Okay, continue. We'll just use a percentage scheme. Some of the other departments have specific grading schemes for them. Well, here, number of decimal places is 2. It's really normal. All right, student view display options. This is what the students will be able to see. We'll just leave all that checked. And right here, we get a little summary of everything, and we'll click Finish. All right, to get started, we're going to create some categories. All right, and this is to help us keep everything organized. So first category, assignments. You don't necessarily have to have a description, but you do need to know what each category is going to be a total weight of. So for assignments, I'm going to do 30% and allow category grade to exceed category weight. This is where you start getting into bonus items and such, and we can talk about that in a later video. All right, we want to distribute weights evenly across all items in the category, and you can obviously change this to give things more clout, bigger assignments and whatnot. This is entirely up to you. But for this example, I'm going to evenly space them across all the categories. All right. Display class average to users, display grade distribution to users. Typically don't check those, but like I said, it's entirely up to you. All right. We're going to do save and new. So we don't have to reopen anything. We're going to go into quizzes. Weight of quizzes, let's go another 30%. Save and close. Well, we'll distribute weights evenly. All right. And okay, I want to add another category. So we'll just go up to new category. And let's say discussions. We're going to go another, let's just go 15% on these. Distribute evenly. Oh, and I forgot to add one more category again. Sorry about that. All right, and let's go into tests. Probably have semester tests grading, and this will be worth the other 15%. Because each category, the weight that you give it, it all needs to add up to 100%. And you can see right here, I have final calculated grade sums to 90, not 100%. So I need to go in and fix that to make sure I have an even 100%. So let's give tests a little more weight. So I go into the drop-down menu, edit item, and we're going to give tests 25%, make up that last 10. And here you can see that that warning has disappeared. Okay, we've set up categories. Now let's go ahead and create items. Numeric, and you can select whatever you want here, but for this example we're using numeric. And I know I will be doing an assignment 1. I will call it that, and then I'll put it within the category. You can give a little description here, and I'm just going to say it's going to be worth 100 points. Grade scheme, default is percentage. Save and new. I'm going to do a numeric, and let's say I want to just week 1 discussion. Short name, typically don't worry about it, students don't see it, and yeah, don't worry about that. Discussions, and save and new. Well, let's do 100 points, because remember this is a weighted system, so the points are kind of arbitrary, but it's a psychological effect on the students. It seems like that they will tend to be more engaged if something is worth 100 points versus 10 points, even though it calculates the same over their entire grade. Okay, and let's do test 1 category. That'll go under tests. We'll call this 100 points. Save and close. Let's check on our progress here. Oh, I don't have anything under quizzes yet. Okay, so I'll go back in, new, item, numeric, quiz 1, category, under quizzes. We'll say the quizzes are worth 100 points. Save and close. Alright, so here we've created categories and grade items for particular assignments and quizzes and discussions that we will be creating here later on. Okay, so this is the general getting things set up in your gradebook, and it's usually easier to do this first. There's not so much flip-flopping, because what we have to do now is when we create these individual things, we need to tie that activity to the gradebook, to these grade items, and the grade items tie that to the gradebook. So this is important to have set up. It helps if you have it set up first, and now we'll go back and start creating the other things we need to. Now that we have created our grade items, we need to associate them with the activities that we want them tied to. As you can see here, if we look in the association column, that I have already associated some other activities with the grade items. But the weekly one, or the week 1 assignment, has not been associated with anything. So what we're going to do is go to activities, assignments, week 1 assignment, click the drop down menu, edit folder, and now we're going to scroll down on the properties page down to grade item. Select grade item, week 1 assignment. Save and close. And now you can see this little key icon indicates that this is associated with an item in the gradebook. Alright, now if we go back, progress, grades, manage grades, we can see now that our week 1 assignment now has an association. Now we have this example gradebook set up. You can see here under the manage grades tabs, we have assignments, assignment 1, this category item, and if we look over here, we have it associated with an assignment. Okay, and quizzes. So right here it shows that we have it tied to a particular activity, and we can also see this is the weight of each category, etc., etc. Now I'm going to go in to enter grades so we can see the gradebook, and you can see that every student that has been enrolled in this class has been added to the gradebook, and all your assignments, quizzes, discussions, tests, etc., etc. have been automatically populated in here. Now if you want to go in and grade, you can grade all here, and you would manually enter in these grades. Now if you do it this way, the individual assignments, it doesn't backfill to the individual activities you had your students do. But if you go to the actual activity grade there, it will push those grades into the gradebook, but it won't go the other way. It won't push back to the assignments. So just food for thought. Alright, save and close. And right here you see this little eyeball. And remember when we set up the Gradebook Wizard, we decided to release the final calculated grade to students. If there is a slash to it, that means that the students cannot see it, and you would be able to go in to here and change that. Okay, so I will cover that in a follow-up video. If you have any further questions, please contact Caleb or I. We're in the basement of Cowan Hall, room 110. Thank you.